What's up, guys? Welcome to the third episode of Tug of Words. Today, I have very, very special guests with me. I have Jeff, and Payday Tre from Last Second Sports. So, how you guys doing tonight?
Doing
We're good.
great, bro. Doing great, man. Glad to
We're
be here.
good.
Glad to be here. We usually see you on the other end, man. Coming in our show, being one of our biggest fans, man. Much appreciated. So I'm glad to come to your show, man, and pay homage, man, and do this tug of words with you, bro.
Thank you,
Yes,
thank you.
sir.
So, let's just jump right into it. Starting off with the first topic: Is Ezekiel Elliott a top five running back in the NFL? So, why don't you start this one off, Tre?
I will. I have no issues.
Oh yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott a top five running back in the NFL? Of course, you know me. I don't. Matter of fact, hold on. Give me a second. Okay, now I feel better. Now I feel better. Let me go ahead and stake my claim off in here. First of all, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, so I'm biased with the Cowboys, but I'm also a realist and very rational. So, and to me, Ezekiel Elliott is still a top five running back. I will say he's closer to 4 or 5 than he is to one. I do feel like before this last year, he was hands down considered a top 3 running back. After having a down year in his sense this past year, I could see maybe a couple guys deserving to move past him, but hands down, I feel like there's only maybe 2 guys, maybe 3 that deserve to be ahead of him. Of course, CMC and Derrick Henry are 2 of them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that, of course. I'm talking about like 100% hands down. I can't make an argument for them to be ahead of him, and that's going to be CMC, Derrick Henry, and yeah, I'm telling you that. And maybe Cook or somebody like that, right there. But after that, I feel like you can make a case for him right after that. With any of them
maybe Cook.
Maybe Cook. Maybe Cook.
So if Dallas had an opportunity to get Dalvin Cook, and then obviously they just had to trade away Zeke, you'd rather keep Zeke.
I feel like they right in the same area. I feel like I said, Dalvin Cook has battled some injuries a lot in his career, and he's injury prone coming in. Zeke doesn't have that issue. Zeke's more of a thumper, where Dalvin Cook's more of a elusive back. I feel like because of Dalvin Cook's last 2 years and Zeke's down year, I'm saying hands down CMC deserves to be ahead of him. Hands down Derrick Henry. I can't make a case for being ahead of those cats.
What about like Alvin Kamara? What about Alvin Kamara?
And that's the next group I'm talking about. I feel like after CMC and Derrick Henry, pretty much Cook, Kamara, Zeke, Chubb, you pretty much can pick your poison with them 4 right there, however you want to put them. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I'm going to make the case for Zeke being top 5. I'm going to make the case for Zeke at least over one of those guys right there.
But you would take Zeke, though? Like, I know he's on the Cowboys right now, but you would just take Zeke over Kamara or Chubb?
I would definitely take him over Kamara.
Okay.
I would definitely take him over Barkley.
Okay.
Hands down. The only ones I would make a question of, Chubb and Cook, because of where they are in their career and the fact that they've been, healthy over the last couple of years, then I'm going to make that's a questionable right there, Chubb and Cook. But Kamara, like I said, Kamara fits his system, and it's nothing against Kamara. I like Kamara. He's an outstanding player. But like I said, Kamara's never rushed for 1,000 yards in the season, never rushed for over 800. Now, you got to factor in his passing yards. Of course, they matter. But even that together, he's never had over 16, I want to say, 100 total yards in the season. So I like his.
He hasn't been the true bell cow, though,
but that's for a reason, though. Don't you think so? It's for a reason.
Maybe it could be the system, though. I don't know.
It is what it is. Like I said,
look, I'm a Zeke fan. I love Zeke. I think Zeke's a great running back. I would love for my team to have Ezekiel Elliott, but
49ers would too.
But I don't know. I don't think he's a top 5, man.
Where would you put him?
He's definitely in the top 10. He's right outside my top 5. Somewhere in like 6, 7.
So if you're saying 6 or 7, then you can make argument that he's number 5. In my case, because it's all opinionated.
Yeah, it is opinionated.
Okay, tell me why. You tell me why he's not.
He's not.
This topic was specifically made for me, so tell me why
it's not. Made for you because I had to get this in. He's not top 5. There's 5 guys easily better than him. Of course, Derrick Henry and Christian McCaffrey. Dalvin Cook is better than him because let's look at last year when he played the Packers, right? Dalvin Cook had almost over 150 yards, and there was no way the Vikings were gonna beat the Packers. And Dalvin Cook carried the Vikings to beat the Packers, and he rushed for like 150 something yards. Of course,
one game don't make it. One game don't make it.
Even the stats.
Go ahead.
The stats this year. Dalvin Cook was like second in touchdowns this year. The stats, the stats don't lie. Ezekiel Elliott only had like 900 yards this season, 6 touchdowns. The stats don't lie. And Dalvin Cook,
yeah, 970 yards, 1,300 all-purpose yards is what he had in 15 games. I mean, like I said, Ezekiel Elliott had 3 all-pro offensive linemen that didn't play. I mean, his 2 tackles only played 2 games. Tyron Smith played 2 games. Lyle Collins didn't play no games. We had 2 tackles starting on our team that was both undrafted free agents. One was an undrafted free agent last year who was undrafted and came in and started for the Cowboys 8 or 9 games. The other one was an undrafted free agent from the year before. Both of them started. Terrence Steele was one of them. And then our other all-pro lineman, Zach Martin, he was out for 6 or 7 games of the season. So, and then on top of that, Dak Prescott, our all-pro, our Pro Bowl, our good quarterback, was out most of the season. So they stacked the box. And with that said, Zeke still averaged 4 yards a carry, ran for 980 yards, had 330 yards receiving. So he had 1,300 total yards and like 8 touchdowns in a down season. The year before that, he had 1,800 total yards. So I can see if this is a trend, but having one down year with all those things that's factoring in, and if just people naturally want to hate the Cowboys, all of a sudden he's knocked out the way. You will make an argument for Saquon Barkley being in the top 5 just based off talent, but in the last 2 years, go look at his stats. He's done nothing. He had that hell of a senior rookie year, and then that second year, you know what I mean, he was mediocre. In the last 2 years, he's done nothing. He's barely played any games. But like I said, because of talent-wise, you put him there. Now, in the last 2 years, Chubb, I would say Dalvin Cook, I can make an argument that they deserve to be over Zeke, but I can make an argument for Zeke. Let me tell you something about Zeke, because Dalvin Cook and CMC both came in the year after Zeke. Derrick Henry came in the same year as Zeke. And you've heard me mention before, I don't know if you ever have, that Zeke has the most rushing yards in the league since he's came in the league. But let me tell you something. Zeke has the most rushing yards in the NFL since 2014. He came in 2016. So put some respect on Zeke's name. Y'all just love to hate him, man. I mean, he had one down year because of all those things. And the down year to him was still rushing for almost 1,000 yards. And he played 15 games. He would have ran playing 16 games. He would have had over 1,000 yards. And I want to say, number 2, go look at the top 5 rushers this last year. Outside of Derrick Henry, I want to say, I know Jonathan Taylor finished in the top 5. I want to say, what's the running back from the Bears? He finished in the top 5 rushing yards this past year. What's my boy name from the Bears?
David Montgomery.
Montgomery. Yeah. Somebody would never consider a top 5 running back. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, like, this past year, the numbers was down across the board for a lot of running backs. Nobody had a real outstanding rushing season other than Cook and Henry. I want to say everybody else was all within like 1,100 yards. You know, that's just, I mean, it was what it was. Now Chubb missed some games. Obviously, I had him on my fantasy team. It hurt me too. But when he was playing, he was valuable. And of course, a lot of his time gets took away from having Kareem Hunt. But that helps him too to stay healthy. He has another valuable running back over there that can take some of the load off of him. So with that said, I can understand why somebody wouldn't put Zeke in the top 5 after this past year. But if you're going to have him number 6 or 7, then I can make an argument that he's in the top 5. That's just being true.
Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah. He is 6 and 7. And I would put him somewhere around 6 and 7. But Cook is better based off this season. Yeah, because he had 1,500 rushing yards, 16 touchdowns. And if you're talking about offensive line, who's on the Vikings offensive line? Like, you can't name one Pro Bowl player on their offensive line. Zach Martin and Tyron Smith are former Pro Bowlers. When they're healthy, they play at a Pro Bowl caliber level. So you can't argue that, Zeke had a bad offensive line and
he did.
Offensive line was good. Yeah, but so did the Vikings. Name one.
The Vikings had 2 undrafted free agents starting on the offensive line. You have no idea, so you can't speak on that.
Well,
that's an assumption right now.
None of their offensive linemen are Pro Bowlers.
And none of our Pro Bowl offensive linemen played. I mean, I get the point you made. If we was talking about a season where they played and Zeke's stats compared to Dalvin Cook's stats, and you were saying, well, of course Zeke should have better stats because he has those all-pro running backs, I can feel that. You know, I mean, all-pro linemen, then I can feel that. But we're talking about him not having them and still having an okay year, a down year in his sense, because like I said before, this past year he was hands down a top 3 running back in the NFL. If you didn't have him top 3, it's just because you just didn't like the guy. I mean, he had done everything to deserve to be top 3. Up, like I said, just the year before this, he had 1,800 total yards, 15 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? The year before that, I mean, I want to say around 2,000. He's passed over 2,000 all-purpose yards in his 5 years in the league. He's been in the league 5 years. He's 25 years old. You know, he had one down year in Zeke's sense, and now all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying, he's no good. But we'll see. Like I said, I understand some cats deserving to pass him, but to me, I need a criteria of more than 1 year. You got to show me something for at least 2 to 3 years before I start ranking you as amongst the best. You know what I mean? Because hey, that's just the way I roll.
I'll give it to you, bro. I'm looking at his stats for the last couple years. I mean, he did ball out 2019, 2018. So, I mean, Zeke's up there. I still put him outside my top 5, though.
Yeah,
current,
Zeke is up there for sure. Zeke is up there for sure, but he's just not in my top 5 as of right now. If he has 1,000-yard season next year, yeah, I might consider putting him back in my top 5. But as of right now, where it stands,
he'll definitely get it.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, we can agree to disagree. Like I said, he's right there. You know what I'm saying? It's not crazy. It's not like I said. If I was trying to say he was number 1 or even top 3, then I feel like it'd be I'll be I'll be out of line. I'll be out of line. You know what I'm saying? But me trying to say that he's 4 or 5, probably. I mean, even if I put him 5, I don't feel like you can make me. It's not much. You can hate on that. But I mean, if you got him 6 or 7, like I said, right there in that little bunch right there. Now, if you had him 10, 11, 12, then we got a debate. But if I got him 5 and y'all guys got him 6 or 7, then I mean, we pretty much all talking the same thing. Y'all got a cat or 2 you'd rather have. Go ahead.
So do you consider him top 3?
Oh no! After last year, I can't. It's just not fair to. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like I said, if I'm gonna look at Saquon Barkley and judge everybody based on now, only person I'm still giving that pass to is C-Mac. You know what I'm saying? Because he was hurt this past year. But based off his injuries and what he did before, I still got to give him that nod. Saquon Barkley, with being 2 years removed from really being effective as a running back, then I can't put him top 5. Talent wise, he's arguably number 1. You know what I mean? He's up there. You know what I'm saying? But that's I got to give you credit for what you're doing on the field day in and day out, and he doesn't fall in my top 5. Now, like I said, Zeke. Based off what he did last year, he went down some. I mean, a couple cats passed him. I'll give you Cook. Like I said, I'll give you Cook, Kamara, or Chubb. I'll give you any one. 2 out of those 3, but one of those, I'm gonna make an argument that he deserves to be over, whether it's Kamara or Chubb. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like those are the next ones in that line right there. Then after that, it gets a little, But I mean, where do you have Mostert rate? Is what I'm wondering, because I heard you say you'd rather have Mostert than Zeke Elliott one day. I mean,
yeah, I'd rather have Mostert over Zeke Elliott, especially. That's just my opinion.
So that means Mostert's ranked in the top 5.
He's not better than Zeke, but it's just me. I don't know why, but I'd rather have Mostert over Zeke. That's just me.
I know why. Because Zeke wears this on his helmet. That's the only reason why.
He's not better.
That's the only reason why.
Let's move on. I mean,
I love it.
I'm just kidding, man.
It's time.
That's your opinion.
Yeah, he's 6 or 7. He's not my top 5. So let's just move on to the next Cowboys topic here, because let's
get it.
You get Tre a little bit more hyped up.
Got a Cowboy show?
I love it. I was supposed to have a Cowboy show anyway, so we getting 2 and 1, 2 birds with one stone.
This one I feel like Tre will agree with us here, but if he doesn't, I'll be shocked, right? Is Amari Cooper a top 10 receiver in the NFL?
Is Amari Cooper a top 10 receiver in the NFL? Let me tell you this.
Jeff, let me start, Tre. Because I know you. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you'll say no.
You don't know.
But no, he's not. He's definitely not. I mean, here's my list: Michael Thomas, DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones, Mike Evans, Tyreek Hill, Keenan Allen, Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs. What is that? 8?
Something like that.
I would put. Look, I like DK, man. I like DK Metcalf.
DK's up there.
I like Allen Robinson. I think I would rather have those cats over Amari Cooper. But
so you putting him 11?
He's up there. Yeah, he's borderline.
He's up there more than what y'all thought, obviously. I mean, right off the top of my head. Yeah, I'm glad that you named the name, because I didn't have the names right off the top of my head. But honestly, just right off the top of my head, I would put him anywhere from probably to give it a little, the area right there, probably anywhere from 9 to 13. Just sounds like that list you named right there. If you named around 10 guys, he deserved to be anywhere right there from 9 to 13. I like Amari Cooper, you know what I'm saying, but he's definitely not, top 5. And if he is top 10, like I said, he's closer to 10. Just run off that name. Now, some of those you like those players better just based off, you like those players better, because Amari Cooper's played 6 years in the NFL. I do know that, and 5 of those 6 years he's had over 1,000 yards. 3 of those 5 years he's had over 1,100 yards. Only 1 year he didn't have 1,000 yards. He had, I want to say, 700. He missed 2 or 3 games, and he had 7 touchdowns a year. So people are just haters just to be hate. Once they get this story, your criteria of how you've been judged is totally different. It's totally different. You know what I'm saying? You have no reason to like some of these cats over Amari Cooper other than the fact that, Amari Cooper has this start. I mean, that's just the truth. Now, I ain't saying you personally, Jeff, or even you personally, I mean, but me as a Cowboy fan, you know, I get this type of hate all the time. I got to go extra beyond to defend my players, because a lot of people just naturally are biased towards Cowboys because they're used to us being so obnoxious and throwing our players in your face and you know, acting like we're better than we are. But I'm not one of those fans. So, I mean, I'm going to keep it real straight off the grill for you. You feel what I mean? But is he top 10 to answer your question, a quick bull? You know what I'm saying? I would say no. I would say that, you know, just right off the top of my head, he's going to fall in probably 11, 12. But like I said, same thing with Zeke. If you got him 5 or 6 or 7, you can make argument as top 10. Because if they're in that range, then a lot of that comes down to just your personal beliefs. Because I just yelled at his stats. I don't know them all, but I can tell you for a fact that 6 years, he's had 5 years over 1,000 yards. In 3 of those years, he went over 1,100. So he's been productive every year. He's one of the best route runners in the game. He gets separation, you know what I'm saying? And I don't really, you know, have too many issues with him. Of course, there's a lot of receivers better than him. I would definitely rather have a Julio or DeAndre Hopkins or, you know, some of these other cats. But after that, I mean, hey, it is what it is. But that's my take on it. What you think?
Thank God Tre is not as delusional as Michael Irvin, okay? Because Michael Irvin says the dumbest stuff the times. I'm just like, that's just a biased Cowboys fan right there. That's like 1,000%.
You know how Michael Irvin is.
He would definitely say Amari Cooper is top 10. I wouldn't even be surprised if you said Amari Cooper is top 5. Okay, that's how delusional Michael Irvin is. But no, he's not top 10. Like Jeff said the list, right? Like I would rather have DeAndre Hopkins. I would rather have Devontae Adams. I would rather have Julio. I would rather have Michael Thomas. I would rather have Keenan Allen. I would rather have DK and AJ Brown over Amari Cooper. Now you might not agree with that, Tre, but I would rather have those guys. And Keenan Allen, I would rather hear. But props to Amari Cooper, because Amari Cooper balled out last year. Even without Dak Prescott, he had 1,100 yards, like 5 touchdowns. So props to Amari Cooper doing that without Dak Prescott. But he's not a top 10 receiver in the league. I'm somewhere in my list around 12 to 15, or you could argue 11 to 15. But he's not a top 10 right now.
Why would you take AJ Brown over him?
AJ Brown is just a beast. Why would I not pick AJ Brown? Not because the stats.
Well, I'm asking why, because that ain't good enough for me just to say he's a beast. Because Amari's a beast. I mean, but I'm just asking, why would you take him over him? I mean, you got your right to your opinion. I just want to know why. Is it just because you just want to take him over him, or do you have a reason?
Who's harder to cover? AJ Brown and DK Metcalf or Amari Cooper? Amari Cooper is just a normal size receiver. He's a really good receiver. But rather have a guy like AJ Brown and DK Metcalf who's bigger, who's like kind of like the same thing like Megatron, who's not. I didn't say
DK. I didn't say DK. I said AJ Brown, but I don't know.
Me of DK Metcalf. Reminds me of a guy who's big and strong like Calvin Johnson. I wouldn't want to go.
Oh, they nowhere near as big. AJ Brown's nowhere near as big as that. But I get what you say. I mean, if you saying you just like a bigger receiver, then I get it. I mean, I guess you know what I mean.
What it is, Tre.
I know exactly what it is, honestly. But you can tell me what it is.
It's the inconsistency, man. It's like some games like he's having like 5 yards. Some games he has 10 yards. Like
who? AJ Brown?
No, I'm talking about Amari.
Because AJ Brown has those same games. So I'm just saying, why is Amari getting judged like that? I mean, is AJ Brown? What's his stats? Pull him up. I mean, pull up AJ Brown's stats.
AJ Brown's stats. Let me look up AJ Brown's stats right now.
Yeah, look him up real quick. Because obviously he ain't having no bad games. I mean, because also
1,700 to 1,075 yards. That's only like maybe like 34, 50, 70 yards less than Amari Cooper, and he had way more touchdowns than Amari Cooper did. And he's
okay. What about the year before that?
1,051 yards and 8 touchdowns. Both years he's put up over 1,000 yards. So you got to give him.
Okay, but Amari has too. Yeah. Amari has too. Amari has done just as much, if not more. So why is he over Amari?
Get him, I mean.
He's over Amari.
Try to get me, I mean. Try to get me.
Who has a corner would I rather want to guard? A guy like DK Metcalf or AJ Brown, or rather guard against Amari Cooper? I would easily rather guard Amari Cooper over AJ Brown and DK Metcalf.
I don't know about that because they don't run as good as routes as Amari Cooper does. Amari Cooper gets separation. He's one of the best route runners off the release in there. I'm saying this to be facts. I mean, unless you didn't talk to some cornerbacks in the league, I don't know what you mean by that. Like I said, AJ Brown, good young up and coming wide receiver. DK Metcalf, big, solid. Everybody loves his physical size. And since he came in, he is ball too. But Amari Cooper, number 5 overall drafted, you know what I'm saying, out of Alabama. Was the Biletnikoff winner. He ain't done nothing but ball since he came into the league, and now all of a sudden he's no good. Cooper leads the league in drops.
Thank you, Rad. Thank you, Rad.
Oh my God, he's a hater. He's a hater. Is Cooper better than anybody on your team? Is Cooper better than the 49ers wide receivers?
Easily. I'm not gonna argue that.
Okay. Well, we talking bad about him.
He's definitely better than every receiver on the Niners, but is he top 10? Is he better than AJ Brown and DK Metcalf? No.
So if he top 10, y'all ain't got a receiver who's top 20. So I ain't trying to hear it.
And the inner Skip Bayless is coming out of payday today.
I'll bring it out, baby. You know, I'm more like Shannon Sharp, though. I ain't gonna be Skip Bayless. Skip. I'm more like Shannon, but I like it, though. Let's get it, though. Yep. Next Cowboy topic.
No more Cowboys topics for a little bit. You know, let's move on to something else. The fans just don't want to talk about the Cowboys. Nobody wants to talk about the Cowgirls.
You the one made the topics up 10 minutes before the show and threw them at me when it was half the Cowboys topics. Now don't get on here and act like you didn't put them on there.
That's easy for you, Trey, because it was all Cowboys.
You know what I mean? I didn't see one Bronco.
Topics, but then I was like, I was trying to think of Broncos topics, but then I was like, what can I think of? How to put a debate show about the Broncos, because that's not something that people want to watch. Like, that's not interesting. But I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I just couldn't. That's not something that people want to watch. Like,
oh, you're funny, Amin. You're funny, man.
Brad, don't make me get on you.
This is my guy. You
know, how come Rad couldn't get on the show? He's over here commenting.
Yeah, he's over here talking.
He's the All-American, though. That we need to do better. Go ahead.
So let's move on to the next
topic. Go ahead, Amin. What's another brain buster?
Joey Bosa or Nick Bosa? Because my boy Nick Bosa's on the Bang Bang Niner gang. So who's better? Why don't you start this one off?
Oh my goodness.
You want me to take it or you gonna take it, Jeff?
No, you go.
Oh, okay. Well, out of Nick Bosa and Joey, I'm going Nick, man. I like young Nick. I ain't gonna lie. Joey been in the league course a little bit longer and came in immediately out the gate and it was, doing his thing. But I feel like Nick's a little more dynamic. I really do. I feel like he's more of a playmaker. But like I said, the fact that both of the brothers, are two of the top, D ends or edge rushers in the game, man, is already, a great thing. I know their family's happy. I know their mom and dad, is happy to sit down on Sundays and watch them boys get out there and tear it up. But I got to give it to y'all 49ers, bang, bang, Niner gang, whatever you call it. Definitely Nick Bosa, I would say right now, being a little younger and already more dynamic or just as dynamic, I'm going Nick Bosa over his brother.
I mean, I'm going to go Bolts gang. I'm picking Joey. He's been in the league longer. He's proven himself. And I know Nick was hurt last year, so it's hard to say, man. I mean, talent-wise, Nick might be better than Joey. Probably is better, but I just gotta go off. I just gotta go off plays, And he got hurt last year, so that's an impact.
I ain't mad at it.
I gotta agree with you, Jeff, because Nick Bosa, if he was healthy this year, I feel like he would have balled out and he would have been a contender for being defensive player of the year, and he would have balled out. The man is easily one of the most talented pass rushers, and he's way more talented than his brother. But it's just that consistency, right? Like when you bring up the topic of Kelsey versus Kittle, Kelsey has that consistency where he's put up those 1,000-yard seasons for a long, long time over Kittle. And Nick Bosa is a beast. Don't get me wrong on that. But it's just that consistency of Joey Bosa, where he's put up 11 sacks, 12 sacks, 10 sacks plus seasons. I just gotta go take that consistency over not being consistent. Where Nick Bosa is not consistent. He's also been injured.
Didn't Joey Bosa miss some time or like early his first and second year? Didn't he?
He misses some time, but he still put up 10 plus sacks, even though he missed some games. Rookie season, he put up 10 sacks.
Joey Bosa has 10.5, 12.5, then 5.5, then 11.5, then 7.5.
So 3 seasons with 10 plus.
Yeah, he has the longevity for sure, but definitely. But like I said, he didn't have some injury issues too, though. It ain't just Nick. And I say Nick didn't play 2 years. His first year was outstanding, and then like I said, his last year. Flip the bang. His first year was outstanding. His past year, he was injured. But yeah, I like the young brother, man. I feel like the young brother.
How many games did Nick play last year? I mean,
Nick Bosa. He played at least 12 something. He played 12 at least.
Last year?
No, this last year. 2020.
Oh, last year only played. He played the first game and the second game against the Jets. He got out. He tore his ACL. He was gone. But see, Joey Bosa misses a lot of games. Even his rookie season, he missed some games, right? But he still put up 10 plus sacks for his team, right? Even though he missed a lot, he missed at least like 3 or 4 seasons per season. He misses 3 or 4 games, but he still puts up that 10 plus sacks. So just that consistency. I gotta go Joey Bosa. I'm not gonna be biased and say Nick Bosa.
I'm gonna go Nick. I like it though. I mean, they brothers, so hey, they mother and father don't care who we go with. They win anyway at the end of the day. But I'm gonna go Nick. Next.
Yep. So moving on to the next topic, let's go back to the Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? Let's go back to another Cowboys
again.
I'm sorry, Jeff. I tried to think of Broncos topics, but I just couldn't.
It doesn't have to be Broncos. Just
we got some other topics in there.
He's trying to pick on you. He's trying to pick on you, Trey.
He's trying to. It ain't gonna work.
Trying to debo you.
Come on with.
This is the last Cowboys topic for today because I'm tired of talking about the Cowboys.
It's okay. We can have some more after this.
Troy Aikman or Steve Young?
Oh, Steve Young is
easy.
So we're not going to have much of an argument right here.
Easy.
Yeah, we ain't gonna have much of an argument right here. Like I said, I'm a Cowboy fan, diehard, but I mean, I'm a realist. Troy Aikman, like I've mentioned before in our Discord, is arguably one of the most overrated quarterbacks of all time. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, now I do give him credit because anybody can't just join any team and win a Super Bowl, especially not 3 of them. But he did have some dynamic players around him, so he's not trash by any means. He's a solid quarterback. He's a good quarterback. You know what I'm saying? But he's not better than Steve Young. It was several quarterbacks who, just like Dan Marino, who has no Super Bowl rings, who's way better than Troy Aikman. So Warren Moon, another quarterback who I love, was better than Troy Aikman, played closer in that era. So, yeah, Troy Aikman, just came out. He was the All-American kid, out of Oklahoma, actually originally moved to California, played out there. UCLA did his little thing. And, 3-time Super Bowl winner. I love me some Troy Aikman. He deserves the props of being an all-time Cowboy, but he's not better than Steve Young. Let's just call it what it is. Steve Young's more talented. Steve Young's one of the most talented.
Let me ask you, John Elway or Steve Young?
Now let's get to it.
Let's get to it now.
That's a good one.
Give you a taste of your own medicine.
I'm gonna be biased and say Steve Young. That's just me. I'm just gonna say Steve Young. That's just a biased opinion. I know Trey's smirking like. So why? What do you think?
It's tough, actually. It's actually tough.
It is tough.
What do you think, Trey?
John Elway or Steve Young? I'm going Elway. I think it's real close. It kind of comes down to just who you like more, man. Like, what's your preference? I like the lefty, man. I like Steve Young, but I feel like Elway deserves, to be he's higher on the quarterback hierarchy than Steve Young to me. I got to put Elway up there ahead of Steve Young, man. That's just me. What you think, Jeff? I know you're biased, bro.
Come on, bro.
I know.
I know. Obviously, Elway.
The thing about Elway is that the stats are pretty similar. Like Steve Young had like 250 plus 280 plus touchdowns. Elway has only like 300. Steve Young has 2 MVPs. John Elway only has 1. So they're all like very mixed in the stats. Like some stats Steve Young is better, and some stats is Elway. So like you said, Trey, it just comes down to preference and who would you rather have, and I would rather have Steve Young. I
ain't mad at that. You're a 49ers fan. You're supposed to roll with your boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course. I would have roll with John Elway. Okay, so the last Cowboys topic of the day, and I know I'm going to beat Trey on this one because Trey can't argue with me on this one because I'm sorry.
Never.
I will give you.
I can argue with you on anything, man. Just because you say it don't make it true.
I have memorized in my head waiting to talk to Payday Trey about it.
Come on with it.
Is Dak Prescott an elite quarterback? And I don't want to start this one off here.
Yeah.
I'll start it off. Let me start it.
No, I want to start this one off here because I gotta make my case, and I want to hear what you want to say after.
That's a quick answer to that.
Dak Prescott is 100% not an elite quarterback. Now hear me out.
He's not.
Oh, you agree with me?
Yeah, well, first of all, we was arguing is he top 10. Now you just switch it to is he elite? That's a whole nother question. It's only 4 or 5 elite quarterbacks, and he's real tricky. I mean, but come on now.
He's not elite.
I'm articulate my damn self, man. Come on.
Thank you.
He's not. I agree.
There's guys like Russ who do way less than Dak, who has Ezekiel Elliott, Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper, and CeeDee Lamb, and there's guys like Russ who have a horrible offensive line. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, who are really good receivers, but he just has a horrible offensive line. Besides Bobby Wagner and Jamal Adams, he has no good defense. This defense is absolutely trash, and he does way more than Dak Prescott does. And Dak Prescott hasn't made the playoffs since when, if I remember correctly, 2018. And he has Ezekiel Elliott, who you say is a top 5 running back. He has Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and he hasn't made the playoffs since 2018. No.
How many seasons has he finished since 2018? Just one. So I don't understand what point you're making with that.
If I remember correctly, last year he got beat by a guy who's not even on the team, who's not even on the Eagles anymore, and who led the league in turnovers this season. So if I remember,
what's talking about?
The Philadelphia Eagles and Carson Wentz beat out Dak Prescott to make the playoffs. Did I remember that correctly? And now the guy's not even on.
Did San Francisco make the playoffs last year?
That was injuries. Okay, we have all the talent in the world.
Oh, okay, I didn't know.
That was injuries. At least we didn't get beat by.
We didn't have no injuries. We didn't have injuries. Dak himself wasn't hurt. Okay, you're very biased. You're very inconsistent in your arguments.
Dak was playing that game, and Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup dropped a bunch of balls.
It's just a flesh wound.
And you have a top 5 running back, and you guys couldn't beat Carson Wentz, who leads the league in turnovers. Like,
get him. I mean, get him.
Also, so because Dak lost one game, he's not. That's why he's not elite to you. Well, let me tell you why Dak's not.
He has way more to work with, and he didn't make the playoffs last year. Like, if you have that much to work with, that team is talented. And
let me tell you why Dak's not elite. Let me tell you why Dak's not. Go ahead.
If you say the defense is bad, last year's defense
I didn't.
Was bad.
You argued for me. I didn't say none of this. Go ahead.
Who was the defensive coordinator last year? I forgot who was his name. Do you remember, Trey?
Mike Nolan.
Mike Nolan. The year before they hired Mike Nolan, the Cowboys defense ranked 11th in the league, which is pretty good, borderline top 10.
Correct.
They ranked 11th in the league, and you have a top 11 defense, and you have all the talent on offense. You have Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper, Zeke, who you say is a top 5 running back.
Amari Cooper was not who's like ranked 15 on your list, but now he's top talent in the NFL. But go ahead.
I said Zeke, who's top 5, not Amari Cooper's.
But Zeke's not top 5 in your book. But go ahead. They're good when it's for your argument, but when it's not for your argument, they're no good. But go ahead.
I never said in my opinion. I said Zeke is, in your opinion, a top 5 running back.
Oh, okay. So if you have all
that, and you guys couldn't make the playoffs, Dak is 100% not elite.
Okay, well, is it my turn yet?
Yeah, you could go. You could go, Cowboys fan.
Thank you. Dak is not elite. I've never said he is elite. Because to me, elite is a strong word. It's only 4 or 5 quarterbacks in the league that deserve to be considered elite. That's it. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to be Aaron Rodgers, Mahomes, Brady, Russell Wilson, and then that 5th one. Hey, if you haven't made our first team All-Pro, you know what I mean? All-Pro team. I mean, it's hard for me to rank you elite. Elite is a strong word. Dak is a very good quarterback. He's not elite. He's not. You know what I'm saying? But it's like I said, it's only 4 or 5 elite quarterbacks in the league. Period. So we're not disagreeing on this. I mean, that's just the truth. Now, if we're gonna call him top 10, like we were talking, then I'm gonna say Dak's a top 10 quarterback.
Let's save that for another day because we got to get that for another day.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that next week on mine. Then we can do that next week. We got
that next week. And next week, you don't want to step in the cage with me, okay? Because that's not.
I'm in the cage with you right now, and I'm in here yawning. I mean, just because you say it's hot in here, don't mean it's hot in here, bro. I mean, I don't. I mean, you can say it. Go ahead.
Okay.
He's not elite. I agree.
Thank you. So let's move on to the next topic.
He's better than your quarterback, though.
We're 100% done with all the Cowboys topics. I'm tired of talking about the Cowboys. The Cowboys suck.
You said that, and then we talk about the Cowboys.
I know.
We
we beat y'all last year too, but we suck. But go ahead.
I mean, we're done. Yeah, because we had Nick Mullins under center. Okay, and you guys had Andy Dalton.
And who do we have?
Andy Dalton, who's better than Nick Mullins. Okay, so don't start that with me. Like, and you guys had Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup, and if I remember correctly, y'all
got deep.
And so was IU.
Don't remember correctly because you can't. That ain't the truth. It is what it is. We beat y'all. Period. Next.
Yeah, you guys beat us. I'll admit it. You guys beat us. But if we have a healthy roster against your healthy roster, we win 10 times out of 9. 9 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10. We win 9 times out of 10. Okay. 9 times out of 10.
It seems like you one that's flustered, my boy. It ain't me.
No.
I'm chilling.
Oh.
Okay.
But no, I mean, hey, it's all subjective. Yes, sir. Let's get it.
Who's the better safety, Ed Reed or Troy Polamalu?
I'm an Ed Reed fan, man. I'm an Ed Reed fan. I'm just gonna tell you right now, I'm going Reed, but that's hard. That's a debate for all time, man. That's an all-time debate, especially with both of them playing during the same time, too, man. You know, 2 of the greatest safeties to ever play the game, hands down. But to make it short and sweet, I'm going Ed Reed.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta agree with you, Trey. I'm more of a Troy Polamalu fan personally, but I think Ed Reed is the better player when it comes to the two.
Yep, Ed Reed, if I remember correctly, had one season where he had like 9+ interceptions, and in my opinion, he should have won MVP that year. And for a safety to have 9+ interceptions in one season and ball out like he did that one season, I don't remember the exact year.
2 seasons,
but yeah. Have those
9
seasons as a
INTs.
Safety, he's just a beast. And that 1 year specifically, if I remember correctly, I don't remember the year, but he should have won MVP. But Ed Reed is just I like him better, and I feel like he is better. He has 13 touchdowns, while Troy Polamalu only has 5 touchdowns. Now Troy Polamalu is a beast. Don't give me that. 8-time Pro Bowler, 4-time All Pro. But he's a beast. But Ed Reed is definitely just better. And for a safety to have an MVP type season, it's just ridiculous.
I like it.
Twice.
I guess we all agree.
Yep. So let's move on to another topic, and this is my Niner guy, and I'm not gonna be biased here, but let's see what you guys have to say about this. Who's a better linebacker, Ray Lewis or Patrick Willis?
I don't mind taking it. Anybody else want to go?
I mean, I didn't do the research on both, but I'll just go off.
Yeah, just go off who you like.
Opinion.
You feel it.
Ray Lewis.
Yeah, Ray Lewis, 52.
Iconic football player. The league wouldn't be the same without him.
Straight up and down. I'm Ray Lewis too, 52 all day long. Love Patrick Willis. Felt like he was, a great linebacker, man. Very athletic. Loved him no matter what Ole Miss or wherever he came from. But at the end of the day, it's Ray Lewis, man, 52. What you saying? I mean,
it's definitely Ray Lewis. 3 touchdowns, 7-time All Pro, 13-time Pro Bowler. The man was just a beast, and I still remember the intro celebration. I still remember the intro celebration when he walks in the stadium. But Ray Lewis is definitely way better than Patrick Willis. But I love Patrick Willis. But I'm not going to be biased and say Patrick Willis is better because he's not, and the stats prove that Ray Lewis is better.
Okay, let me ask you this before we jump over to the next question. Okay, obviously we all agree Ray Lewis is better, and that's probably because of his longevity and his overall numbers. But at their peak, if you're just going at their peak, who would you take?
Oh.
That's a hard question. Patrick Willis is, at his peak, you're not going wrong if you pick him. I'm just, what I'm saying? At his peak, he was, that man. He was that dude, just like Ray. Obviously, Ray, like I said, deserves to be mentioned ahead of him and is number one on the hierarchy list over Willis. But at their peak, I was interested to know who you would take. Because Patrick Willis was a bad boy.
I would still pick Ray Lewis.
I like that. I like the linebacker y'all got with it right now, Fred Warner or whatever. He's nice, up and coming too.
Yep. It's Ray Lewis. Like if I remember that in the Super Bowl, Super Bowl Ravens versus Giants, that defense obliterated Eli Manning in that offense. Like it was a defensive side. It was just the defense dominating, and Ray Lewis was the heart and soul of that Ravens defense. And so was Ed Reed, but without Ray Lewis was the main guy in the defense. First, I would look at Ray Lewis first, and then I would look at Ed Reed and move on to the other guys like Terrell Suggs. But first, I would look at Ray Lewis, and I would be scared to go against Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis in his prime, scary.
Yeah, bad boy. Navarro Bowman was bad for y'all too for a little bit. Y'all done had some solid LBs come through in the last 10 or so years, man. It's been real nice.
Your linebacker core has potential also. Leighton Van Der Esch, Jalen Smith.
Yeah, they got to step it up though.
That's a good trio, but you guys have
it definitely is.
That's really
good. How about Ray Lewis had 156 solo tackles in 1997.
Damn.
Like, what was he doing? Just
smacking people. Just smacking people, man. What's up? What's next on the agenda?
We all know that Ray Lewis is a beast, but we all know Lawrence Taylor is the best linebacker of all time. So
yeah, he is. LT, hands down.
LT, man, struck fear.
LT might be the greatest the greatest defensive player of all time.
LT was dominant. So let's move on to another topic. Is who would you rather have, Chris Godwin or Calvin Ridley? Because both of these guys on their teams last year were second best receivers on their team.
I'm taking
Calvin
Ridley,
who got outshined by Julio, and Godwin got outshined by Mike Evans. So who would you rather have?
I'm taking a young Ridley, man. I like Godwin. I feel like he's probably the popular choice on some people's list, but I'm gonna go with Ridley after watching the games. You know what I'm saying? From watching the tape and seeing how they look out there in the field, really being young too, a little younger. Actually, I don't know. Godwin been in the league 3 years, 3 or 4. I know Ridley been in 2. I want to say.
Godwin's been in the league for 4 years.
Godwin has 4 years.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
So
Ridley been in 2. So yeah, I'm taking Ridley, but it's close.
Ridley's been in 3.
Is it 3?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm taking Ridley.
But yeah, I'd agree with you, Trey. I mean, I think this last year, Calvin Ridley really had an opportunity to be the number one receiver since Julio was hurt for the majority of the time. The stats show, man, he almost had 100 receptions. He almost had 1,400 yards, almost double-digit touchdowns. But I just, I like Calvin Ridley, man. Just the way he plays. He's a dog.
Hands down. What you think? I mean,
it's Calvin Ridley, hands down. Now, I thought Chris Godwin I thought he played way better and had way better stats. When I looked at the stats, he only had like 700 yards, 5 to 7 touchdowns, while Calvin Ridley had over 1,300 yards, had 90 receptions, and had 9 touchdowns. Like, the stats don't lie. And as much you might want to argue with that, the stats just don't lie. And your stats are way, way better than Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin didn't even have 1,000 yards receiving. So it's easily, hands down, Calvin Ridley.
Well, I mean, Chris Godwin was hurt this last year, to be fair. Yeah, and there are a lot of weapons.
The best ability.
Yeah, true. And when he was available in 2019, he did have 1,300 yards, 9 touchdowns. So, but at the same time, I'm agreeing with you guys.
What did he have the year before that 1,300? I'm just curious to know. Did he ever have back-to-back 1,000 yards?
No, so he had
6 yards, 63 receptions, and 7 touchdowns.
Well, that was that one major blow-up year, pretty much.
Yeah, last year or 2019 was definitely a blow-up
year. Is Godwin better than Amari Cooper? I mean,
no.
Okay.
No, Godwin is not better than Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper, when you have 1,000 yards, and Amari Cooper did stuff with Andy Dalton as quarterback, he's not. Godwin is definitely not even close to being as good as Amari Cooper.
That's a real question because I would think some people, especially before the year Godwin had, would probably say yes. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, but that's a real question. I would say he don't deserve to be ahead of him either right now, but it's a good question though for sure. All right, that's good.
Yep. So we have like 3 or 4 more topics left, so let's just wrap it up real quick.
No problem, bro.
Who would you rather have, Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson?
Allen.
J.A., baby.
Jimmy Fallon, Josh Allen, baby.
We're talking about elite quarterbacks. I would put Josh Allen up there. That's real talk. Yeah. He would be up there when it comes to elite conversations, especially this last year, and he's been improving every year.
I might need to see one more year from him, but he's definitely right there. Like I said, I think I had him number 5 in my top 5 quarterbacks. And when we did the top 10 or whatever quarterback, I had number 5. I would say those other 4 hands down should be considered elite.
For sure, without question.
Mahomes, Brady, and who's the other one? Russ, Mahomes, Brady, and Rodgers, of course. Those are hands down elite. After that, I feel like Josh Allen is the next quarterback moving up. I feel like Lamar Jackson, they moved out the way. And then you got Kyler Murray and a few other quarterbacks. Herbert has to do more. Dak has to do more. But, I mean, all those other cats is kind of right off in there after that. But, yeah, I agree with you, Jeff. I would say that Josh Allen is right on the verge of being elite. I mean,
if he can repeat it this year, he's definitely elite. Because this last year was an elite season for him.
Hands down. I agree.
Yep.
I'm going Allen.
Before I give my take, shout out to the Camper Report. Go subscribe to his channel. Get this man to 100 subs. The man posts amazing content on his channel. So go subscribe to him. But it's easily Allen. Lamar Jackson, I feel like he had an MVP season, and people use that MVP to argue over Josh Allen. But that one season his MVP season was that he was just an amazing runner. He was like a running back. He was like Michael Vick, man. Like, he would run the ball. But Michael Vick can throw the ball, and he can launch the ball really, really far. And he's really good at throwing the ball also. Lamar Jackson, I don't feel like he's that good at throwing. He has that one side of his game where he's really good at running. And this season, when people saw that he can't throw the football, then what they pretty much stopped him. Like, you neutralized Lamar Jackson, the MVP Lamar Jackson, because he couldn't throw the ball. So I feel like Lamar Jackson only has that running part of his game. Josh Allen had 4,500 yards, 37 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. Like, that's ridiculous. And 107.2 passer rating. That's just ridiculous. So.
And Lamar, no, it's easily Allen, hands down. But in Lamar Jackson's defense, he needs some more weapons. And that one year he won MVP, he led the league in passing touchdowns that year. I want to say with 36. So, but But it is hands down. I do agree with you that his passing is definitely his problem, and that he has to get better. And he hasn't got better. He's actually regressing. He's going in the opposite direction from his MVP season of last year. So I agree with you. But like I said, other than Andrews and Hollywood Brown, he doesn't have any. I mean, Hollywood Brown is still yet to be seen who he is. I know he was a top draft pick, but I'm not really sold on the kid.
I'm not either.
So he has Mark Andrews at tight end, and he's a dynamic player. I mean, just like we take running backs, just like we was talking about Kamara, you got to count all-purpose yards. You got to count for Lamar Jackson's all-purpose yards too. He may only be throwing for last year was horrible, but if he can give me 3,500 yards passing and 1,000 yards rushing, I mean that's still 4,500 altogether right there too. So I mean I can dig it, but you are right. This past year Lamar Jackson took another step back, and I feel like he's going in the wrong direction. Man, he has to get better.
The thing about you say that Lamar needs weapons, and I agree that Lamar needs weapons, but they don't. Last season when he digressed, like. The only reason he has the weapons that he needs, honestly, and I get that he doesn't have the best weapons, but you gotta understand, right? Like if Josh Allen was a running quarterback like Lamar Jackson would scramble all the time, why would I as a GM be like, okay, we gotta give Lamar Jackson weapons, we have to focus on his passing because I get that he has to improve his passing, but they gave him what he needs in last year, and I get that he had Hollywood Brown, he has Mark Andrews, who's an amazing tight end in my opinion. But Lamar Jackson isn't one of those guys that's going to throw the ball down the field 80-plus yards. So why would you?
Yeah, I don't know about amazing, but he's good.
I like Mark Andrews. Especially when he played the Niners, he was dogging on us.
Yeah, I think he's top 5.
He's top 5 in my opinion. You could disagree. He's top 5.
He's right there. He's right there. I mean, right 1 and 2, 1, 2, and 3 is locked down. That's going to be Kelsey, Kittle, and Waller. Them 3 are locked down. Then after that, you know what I'm saying, Andrew. But like I said, tight end is one of the positions that we all play fantasy. So at tight end, after those cats, pick your poison on a weekly basis. Now Andrews deserved to be right there in the next group. He was my tight end actually fancy last year. So and Hawkinson is moving up. Maybe a couple other guys.
Hawkinson's 4 in my opinion, and 5 you could argue between. I don't have Noah Fant up there. I don't know if you might disagree with that, Jeff, but Noah Fant's not a top 5 tight end in the league.
Not yet.
He's just not.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Andrew's gonna fall right there around that 5 range.
One guy who's also another underrated tight end is Mike Gesicki for the Dolphins. I like Mike Gesicki. I don't know why.
He did pretty good last year. Yes, to show me.
Very inconsistent though. Mm-hmm. Very inconsistent. Talent wise, he's amazing, but
So moving on to the last topic of the day. We've already covered this. Who's better, Saquon Barkley or Nick Chubb?
Ooh.
If I had to pick, if I was starting tomorrow and I'm a GM, I got to pick Chubb. Barkley's better. He's more dynamic. He's more better athlete. But like you just said a minute ago, availability is the best ability, man. And like I said, in the last couple of years, he's had some pretty major injuries, especially the year before. I don't know. I can't remember what was really ailing him last year, but I'm just saying Nick Chubb has been very dynamic in the last couple of years. So I'm going to probably go against most people and say Nick Chubb right now for my team.
Man, I got to agree with you, Trey. 3 years in the league. The only year he didn't have 1,000 yards, he was 4 yards shy of 1,000. Last year he was hurt. He was also sharing the backfield with Kareem Hunt, who's another good running back, and still got over 1,000 yards with 12 touchdowns. 12 touchdowns. So even though he's not, as good of a receiver as Saquon, he doesn't have that opportunity. The Browns don't need him to be a receiver, but he is a good receiver when he gets the opportunity to catch the ball.
And I think he's averaging over 5 yards a carry. I want to say, what does it say?
For receptions, last year was
period. For yards per carry.
Oh, absolutely, over 5 yards for 3 seasons in a row. Consistency, baby. Like
straight up.
He was a steal because he was a second round draft pick, I think, from Georgia, right?
I think he was. If he was, the first round was late. He was second round. He was second round. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But he was a steal. Honestly, I thought Sonny Michel was the more dynamic running back coming out of Georgia. I really did. Just looking with the eye test, but my bad, Nick Chubb. That's disrespectful to you right now, Nick Chubb, because Sonny Michel can't hold Nick Chubb's jock strap the way they
Listen, Trey, I might have to pick him this year in fantasy if you let him go. Because I know he was on your team. I know he was on your team.
You know, I held on to him long too, through all the injured weeks and everything, waiting on him to get back. Yeah,
you really did.
I did, man. I needed him back. Nick Chubb. What you think? I mean,
it's Nick Chubb. Barkley is one of the most talented running backs I've seen. Barkley has all the talent in the world, but Nick Chubb has that consistency, and Barkley was injured last year. And Nick Chubb, when you share a backfield with Kareem Hunt, who was a pretty good running back when the Chiefs before they released him, who was pretty darn good when I used to watch him play, and he was pretty good for the Chiefs. To share a backfield and still put up 1,000 yards in your last 2 seasons, and like Jeff said, in 2018, he had 996 yards and 8 touchdowns. And that's hard to do as a rookie, but you had 4 yards less to get 1,000 yards. So you would have had, if you just got 4 more yards, you would have 3 consistent 1,000-yard seasons. And to share a backfield with Kareem Hunt last year and have 1,067 yards and 12 touchdowns, 5.6 yards per carry, which is insane to me. He's easily hands down better than Saquon Barkley. I just want to address this comment because this was trying to say, but he just took the words out of my mouth. And Greg Roman's offense. What's the point of having weapons when you run obviously? And can Lamar be a volume thrower?
Can Lamar be a volume thrower? No, that's not his game. I
don't think so.
But can the other quarterbacks run like Lamar? No. So
no, but like I said, what's the point? That's Pinor took the words out. He basically wrote it for me, right? Because what's the point of giving him weapons when you know it's a run first offense, right? Like you don't. He already has Hollywood Brown and he has Mark Andrews. Now I know they addressed it this year where they got Sammy Watkins, who's a speedy guy, and they still
need weapons, man.
You still need weapons, but why would you address the weapon position and spend big bucks or try to?
I'm not saying go get him the Dallas Cowboys wide receiver trio or the Buccaneers wide receiver, but I'm saying get him a player out there.
One. You need
come on now.
His number one right now is a tight end.
His number one is Hollywood Brown, Mark Andrews.
Even for the threat of the other team to be scared, for them not to stack the box, for them to know you got a threat out there, even if you ain't throwing it to him, that you can get it to him, and he'll get it to him. Like I said, hands down, Lamar Jackson, his passing needs to step it up, man. It's not good. It's not up to par, and he's going in the wrong direction. But with that said, he needs a weapon out there. Hollywood Brown was a first-round draft pick, but he hasn't shown anybody anything in the league to believe that he's a top wide receiver. I mean, I don't want to say elite, but even a good wide receiver. I mean, he's solid. He might be no more in a Robin or a good slot receiver. We don't know right now. And Mark Andrews is a good tight end, but you need a little more than that. I mean, he has Willie Snead out there running routes. I mean, hey, let's get him a little more. But you right, who they got? Rashad Bateman this year. Who they pick up again?
Rashad Bateman.
And Sammy Watkins. I mean, a good little rotational receiver. Yeah, he's a good little rotation. Okay. I mean, let's see. I hear I agree with the comments. I understand his philosophy when it comes to it. But with that said, man, everybody need weapons. All quarterbacks
still need a receiver. Still need a receiver. The thing is the receivers don't want to play in that offense. Because Juju had a chance to play in that offense.
Yeah, why would Juju want to go into the offense when it's just when it's basically Lamar Jackson runs all the time? So, well, this is a topic that got added just right now, but
what's up?
People have Josh Allen over Russell Wilson. Do you agree with that statement?
Yep. Right now, yeah. Absolutely. I would take Josh Allen over Russ right now.
No.
Whoo! Now, when you put it like that, I can see why you say that, but I'm still going Russell Wilson, man. I can't let 1 year, just throw me out. I mean, Russell Wilson's been balling his whole career, but I mean, it's hard for me to disagree with you. Josh Allen, after what he did last year going forward, I mean, I see why you would say that, but I'm still going to ride with old Russell, man. Russell, you mentioned earlier, the offensive line was banged up. And I mean, he has some good weapons out there, receiver. I will say Lockett and DK Metcalf is one or two, top duos in the league at receiver. It ain't too many teams got a better duo at receiver. That's just being
got great running backs.
Yeah, decent running backs. You know what I'm saying? Carson and Penny. I mean, they the other dude. I mean, they okay. Carlos Hyde last year for a little bit. Yeah. Now in the past, he's had good running backs, of course, with Beast Mode, a few of them. But not to hold you too long, I'm gonna go slightly with Russell Wilson. But that's a great question, man. Great question.
It's Russell Wilson. The only reason I disagree with you, Jeff, is that let's put Josh Allen in the same situation as what Russell Wilson is in, and let's put Russell Wilson in the same situation where Josh Allen is in. Russell Wilson would absolutely torch it up, and he torched it up with the Seahawks. He had 3 more touchdowns than Josh Allen. He had 40 touchdowns and 13 interceptions behind a bad, absolutely horrible offensive line. And besides Bobby Wagner and Jamal Adams, that defense has no talent. Has absolutely zero talent. It's one of the worst defense besides those 2 players. And if you look at it for like the past 3 seasons, if I remember correctly, we all put Russell Wilson as our MVP favorite for the first half of the season. He torches it the first half of the season. He has games where he puts up 5+ touchdowns. He torches it. And the second half of the season, his productivity slows down. But he still plays absolutely amazing. Where the Seahawks, who should be getting a top 5 draft pick every year without Russell Wilson, makes it to the playoffs and wins 10+ games. So it's hands down Russell Wilson. To put up those amazing numbers in a Seahawks offense, it's absolutely amazing. And I'm going to take shots at, Dak Prescott a little bit because, I have to before we end the show. If Dak Prescott can't make the playoffs and do the things, if Dak Prescott can't do the things that Russell Wilson can do, and he has Ezekiel Elliott and Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup and CeeDee Lamb, and Russell Wilson can do it without all of those guys and put up way, way better numbers, it's easily Russell Wilson. And he wins 10+ games. And the Seahawks are making the playoffs. You just know that. At least they're slipping into the wild card. They're making the playoffs pretty much every year.
That's a tough division, bro.
When was the last time Russell Wilson missed the playoffs? When was the last time?
I don't know.
I don't think he's done it in his entire career. He hasn't missed the playoffs in his career. Unless the first season I know he missed it. But since 2013, that team has made the playoffs every single year. So, yep, it's easily Russell over Allen. So that basically wraps up our show. Thank you for joining me, Trey, and thank you for joining me, Jeff. I had an amazing time. So,
yes, sir. Thank you.
We'll see you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Awesome.
Appreciate you.
Later, bro.